Hi, good day, and welcome to my new series, the CXC Maths Caribbean Challenge. Now, let me explain what's going to go on here today. Well, over the next few weeks, I'm going to make up a question that's harder than normal, than what would actually come for the CXC exam. So, you might be wondering, why would you prepare for a question that's really hard, that's not going to come for the exam? Well, first of all, by doing harder questions, you automatically become a stronger math student. And of course, when you see the actual questions in CXC, you're going to be super comfortable with it. So this is more like an exercise to strengthen your math skills. And of course, I will not recommend that you jump straight into these videos. First of all, to help you with today's question, you should go through this video. You just have to go on YouTube, type in iLoveLessons 3D, and the first video that pops up, because today's question is going to have a lot of stuff to do with what's going on in this video. And of course, I would really recommend that you go through my crash course videos. Now, if you're wondering what crash course videos I'm talking about, just go on YouTube, type in iLoveLessons. You'll see my channel come up. Click on it. Go to playlist. When you go to the playlist, look for the Maths Crash Course 2021. Right? It's supposed to be a 10-part series. I'm almost finished with it. So when you finish with the crash course, now it's time to really get strong in maths and practice everything that you have learned. Now, what I'm going to do, for each session, I'm going to dedicate a question to one country in the Caribbean that's writing the CXC exam. So today's question is going to be dedicated to Jamaica. So I'm going to show you what's going to go on in today's question. Give me a few seconds just to explain it. We'll make sure we're recording here. Great. So let me explain what the question is. Oh, by the way, just off the topic of maths, one of my favorite shows or movies of all time is Cool Runnings. So just letting everyone know, it's about a Jamaican bobsled team. I cannot stop watching the show. It cracks me up every single time. All right, so let's get started with today's question. I'm going to have to talk you through what's going on here. Here we have a cone, right? So everyone is seeing the cone here. So in the cone, we're going to assume that this cone is filled with a liquid. We're going to take all the liquid from this cone and throw it into this cylinder. Obviously, if this whole thing is filled with liquid and we throw it inside here, the liquid, let us draw it here, will rise to a certain height inside of the cylinder. The aim of the question is to try to figure out how high the liquid will rise, assuming that the cone is completely filled with liquid. But like I said, the question is going to be a little bit harder than normal today. But keep in mind, everything that I'm teaching here is still on the CXC syllabus. So I'm not really straying. So what we're going to do, we're going to have to find the volume of the liquid inside of the cone. So how do you find the volume of a cone? Well, the volume of a cone, right, is 1/3 multiplied by the base area of the cone multiplied by the height. This here is the height. Now the height of the cone is from here, point A, vertically downwards to point, and that's going to call here point B. Keep in mind, right, the height here is really the vertical height of the cone, not the slanted height. Now BA stands for the base area. The base of the cone is actually what? A circle. So in other words, to find the volume of this cone is 1/3 multiplied by the base area. The area of our circle is pi r squared multiplied by the height. So what I'm getting at, once we find the volume of the cone, that will tell us how much liquid we have in the cone. Obviously, if we pour this out into the cylinder, you will still have the same volume of liquid, except it will take a different shape because it's going inside of the cylinder. We have a little problem. For the cylinder, not the cylinder, sorry, for the cone, we do not have the vertical height of the cone, and we do not have the radius of the cone. So the cone has a radius, and of course it has a height, or a vertical height. And in order to find the volume of the cone, we need the radius and we need the height. So I'm going to scroll down where I have a little more space. Let's deal with the cone first. Let's try to figure out R and H, and then we'll find the volume and whatnot. Okay? So let's scroll down here a little bit where we can see the cone on its own. You notice that the examiner gave you the area of the base. Now the base is a circle. How do you find the area of a circle, right? So the area of a circle, we're going to put A and a little circle here, as we all know, is pi multiplied by the radius squared. The examiner has given us the area, so we can just transpose now to find the radius. Pi is a multiply, throw across a multiply, you will get a divide. When we take the 250 and divide it by pi, we will throw across the squared to get square root. So to figure out the radius, we have to take the 250 divided by pi and then square root our answer. So let's do that. 250 divided by pi. I think I have a pi button here. When I take 250 and divide it by pi, you notice I did not press the square root first. I'm just taking the 250 and dividing it by pi. I get 79.577. So I'm just going to put 79.577. And now this will give us r squared. So we throw across the square to get square root. Let's square root that. Square root 79.577. And we will get 8.92 centimeters. So that means the radius, which is from here all the way to here, is 8.92 centimeters. And that's going to leave out the centimeters because it will make the diagram look a little too crowded. So now we have the radius of the base of the cone. All we need to do now is find the vertical height. So remember, I'm going to call the top here A and the over here B. Well, you notice that we have an angle here. And if you pay attention from A to B, if I call here C, A, B, C, and back to A, is clearly a right angle triangle. So I think we can use tan to figure out the height of the triangle. So tan theta is opposite over adjacent. I'm just going to do the work in here. The angle theta is 30 degrees. The opposite side, if we're standing at the 30, the opposite side is 8.92, and the adjacent side is the height. Remember, the height is what we're trying to find right now. So I say we can easily cross multiply here and solve for h. So I'm just multiplying this first. So you get h multiplied by tan 30 is equal to 8.92. To find the height, the tan 30 is a multiply. Throw across the multiply, you will get a divide. So how much is the height? 8.92 divided by tan 30. And that will give us 15.45. So now we know the height. I'm just going to erase that. The height is 15.45 5. So my handwriting is kind of bad there. So guess what? We have everything now to find the volume of this cone. So let me scroll up here. How do you find the volume of a cone again? 1/3 by the base area. The base is a circle and the area of a circle is pi r squared. And then we multiply it by the height. We just need to substitute in the values. Pi, radius is how much? 8.92, and we have to square it. And the vertical height of this cone is 15.45. Let's work this out and see what we get. Oh, my God. I'm grabbing my real calculator by mistake. All right. So it's 1/3. I'll go use the fraction button here. 1/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by 8.92 squared. That's the radius squared. Multiplied by the vertical height, which is 15.45. All right. And that gives us roughly 1287.32 centimeters cubed. So that means if this entire cone was filled with liquid from top to the peak here, it will contain 1287.32 centimeters cubed. So if we throw this inside here, the volume will be the same amount, right? Remember, the volume is the amount of liquid you have. If you have a pack of juice and you throw it into a different container, you don't get more juice. You have the same amount of juice. So now, for the cylinder, right? Let's try to find the volume of a cylinder. The volume of a cylinder is pi r squared by the height. Now, right? Now, the height here will be the height of the liquid. But one thing is missing. The radius of this cylinder is missing. Right? Remember, this cylinder is a totally different shape from the cone. So this cylinder will have its own radius. And the examiner was nice enough to give us the circumference. So let's scroll down here and concentrate on the cylinder. So the cylinder has a radius which we don't know, but the examiner gave us the circumference of the base and the circumference, but this is a circle obviously. How do you find the circumference of a circle? That's 2 pi r. The circumference is 80. 2 is just a button on the calculator, multiplied by pi, and we're trying to find the radius. The 2 and the pi are multiplied, so throw across the multiply, you will get a divide. Let's work out that on our calculator. 80 divided by, I'm going to put open brackets and 2 multiplied by pi. Right? So the 80 is being divided by the whole 2 pi. So we're getting the radius to be 12.73 centimeters. So from here all the way to here is 12.73 centimeters. And we can find the volume of the cone now, right? So let's go up here. Let me save this here. So it's 12.73. So going back up here now, what we can do, we can plug in the value for the volume, which is the 1287 pi. We have the radius. Now we can find the height of the liquid in the cylinder. That will give you back the 1287.32 centimeters cube. All right, so where can I find working for this? So I can write up here. So let's plug it in here. The volume in the cylinder, right, is 1287.32 pi. The radius of the cylinder, look, I have it on the calculator here still, is 12.73 squared, and we don't know the height of the liquid in the cylinder. We can easily work this out. 1 Oh my, that's now. I think I need to do it back here. Just now. I think I went to another page, but that's okay. That's okay. So let's scroll down where we're on the same page. So I'm gonna write back this formula and plug in the values down here. The volume is 1287.3. 12, sorry. I think I need to stay away from here. That's 1 second, guys. This is like I said, it's a new program I'm using. So let's go down. The volume is pi r squared by height. I'll just scroll back up. Volume. Just 1 second, guys. Technical difficulty. All right. So I think I cleared it up here. So I went ahead down here, and this is for the cylinder over here. For the cylinder, the volume is pi r squared by height. That's to get the volume. Remember, the volume is 1287.32. Pi is just a button on the calculator. And remember, we had calculated the radius of the circle of the cylinder here. And that's this calculation over here, right? Somewhere wrong. Anyway, right, it was over here. So now all we need to do, right, is find h. So let's work it out. 1287.32. I think we can work out this straight on our calculator. Let's work that out. Pi multiplied by 12.73 squared. That gives us 509.10, and we have to multiply by the height, but we don't know the height. So this here is a multiply. When you throw across a multiply, you get a divide. So we're going to take the 1287.32 and divide it by 507.10, and we get 2.54. right, centimeters. So that's the height of the liquid in the cylinder. So when you take this and pour it inside here, the height over here is 12.54, right? So it was a pretty, I don't think it was that difficult, but it could have possessed a challenge because of how they gave you the area here and didn't give you the radius directly, nor did they give you the height directly. Over here in the cylinder, they didn't give you the radius directly. They gave you the circumference, and from that you had to calculate what? The radius. So it wasn't a straightforward question. Alright guys, so once again I apologize for the technical difficulties here, but it's a new program I'm using, but I hope that you understand the concept. And of course guys, look out for my next video. I don't know which country I'll be choosing next, but please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share. Take care guys, have a good one.